Alright friends, this is the Spot Guy, and what I want to talk to you about today is I'm getting ready to show you a video of a guy that is very interesting. He has something that I had no idea even existed, and I bet you didn't either. I was able to go interview him, and I spoke with him, spent a good portion of a day with him, and he's got something very interesting. He had a great story to tell. But first, I want to coin a couple of phrases and kind of get us started on the right track. So I want to do a little experiment. After you watch this video, if you believe that Elvis, there's two schools of thought. There's some people that think that Elvis is alive. There's some people that think that Elvis is dead. So herein lies the issue. So you don't have to write out Elvis is alive or Elvis is dead. I'm going to put up these little abbreviations. We're going to call it, if you believe Elvis is alive, we're going to call you an L, an EL. If you believe Elvis is dead, we're going to call you Ed, ED. So EL or ED. So you put, whenever you make your comment, and you don't have to comment specifically about whether you think he's alive or dead or any of that. If you're making a comment on this video, at the end of it, the comment, just put EL or ED, and we'll be able to count them and see which schools of thought are most prevalent out there. That's something that I'm curious about. Something else that we're going to do is, y'all, you know, you have the KISS Army, and you have, who is it, Taylor Swift has, they call them, maybe, is it Swifties? I think, maybe, and I'm going to call y'all Spot Guy friends. So, if you want to refer to yourself, you're a Spot Guy friend on SGF. The other thing that I'm going to coin here is, there is something that I've noticed out there, there's kind of a movement, and there's a thing called Munchausen. Munchausen is a person that pretends like they are sick to get attention. They'll pretend like they have cancer to get attention from people, and also even collect money like they're going to use that money to get treatment. And the reality is they're not sick at all, and they call that Munchausen. Then they have Munchausen by proxy. What that is somebody that pretends like a child is sick, and that gets them attention, and they can collect money, and it's not really about the money, it's about the mental thing, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not a doctor, although I play one on YouTube, as you know. So I'm coining this phrase. I'm calling it Munchausen by Elvis. Okay, and this has nothing to do with Elvis being sick or a person being sick. What this is a person who, their claim to fame is something to do with Elvis, like they were around Elvis, they spent time with Elvis, they were in the inner circle, and they actually were not. I'm finding that there's some people out there that make claims to have some involvement that weren't involved at all. So whenever you hear me say Munchausen by Elvis or MBE, that's what I'm talking about. And I'll say this person is MBE, so you know what I'm talking about. So that gives you a little bit of a clue in there. That's EDs for Elvis is dead, ELs for Elvis is alive, Spot Guy friends, SGFs, and then lastly, Munchausen by Elvis, or MBE. So let me stop right now and say that the following video with this man named Mac, he is not a MBE. He is not Munchausen by Elvis. He is, in fact, not trying to get famous from this. None of that. This man genuinely loves Elvis, and I believe that with all my heart after talking to him, and I think you will after you see this. But if I run into somebody that is trying to put theirself there, and I'll say this, I have never met Elvis in my life, so I'm not MBE either, and neither is Mac, but we're going to run across them. So if you hear me say MBE, just know that's what I'm talking about, although Mac is not one of them. Here we go. So the man that we're getting ready to talk to, I call him Mac. I want y'all guys to love on this man. He's 84 years old. His wife passed back in November, which is not quite a year ago. He lost a very good friend of his not too long ago, and his house burned about a month ago, a little over a month ago. So I want an outpouring of love for this man, and the story that he's going to tell you is incredible. He gets choked up in this story, and I think the memory of his love for Elvis, he's an Elvis fan, but his love for his wife, his loss of his home and his wife, and a lot of major things happened in his life in a very short period of time. So all these things kind of culminated while I was speaking with him. But man, what a great guy. And he is the epitome of a true Elvis fan. And let's hear his story. Stay tuned, friends. Them turkeys are wild right there, friends. Them's wild turkeys. So today is a special day. I am headed into the shop for just a moment to check in, make sure everything is good. And I'm heading to see a man that was at Baptist Hospital on August the 16th, 1977 at work. And we're going to hear what happened that day from his perspective. And he has something from that day that is mind-blowing. So stay tuned, friends. I can't hardly wait to get there. And he has shared the story with me. He sent me the story written out, typed out, and I was like, you know, I appreciate you typing the story, but I want you to tell the story. He said, well, no, you can, I've given you the story, you can tell it. And I'm like, nah, you know what? We want to hear it from the guy that it happened to. We want to hear it in his words. So we're going to go hear it in his words, friends. And the thing that he has, he had the forethought to make sure that he acquired this item. And he still owns it. It was actually in a museum for a period of time, but he has it back, and we're going to go see it. So I know I keep saying stay tuned, but this time definitely stay tuned. Let's go. Let's go see him. So friends, I'm in a little town about halfway between Nashville and Memphis, not quite to Jackson. And that's where we're going to meet this man named Mac. Almost there. So what happened to Mac was about a month ago, the house that I'm meeting him at caught on fire. Part of the equipment that we're going to look at today, this thing that I'm talking about, is in the basement of this house. So we're going to go here first, meet him here, and take a look at it, and then we're going to go. Oh, I nearly missed my turn. Come on, Billy. Yep, this is Mac's house right here. And he ain't kidding, it caught on fire big time. So let's get out and meet Mac, friends. Let's do it right now. Great to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
Billy the Spa Guy.
Yeah, I'll just call you Spa Guy.
Yes, sir. Either way is fine. I'm gonna call you Mac if that's all right.
Fine.
So, friends, this is Mac, and Mac has an incredible story to tell. And
You're gonna put me on the spot.
Mac was there on August the 16th, 1977 at work.
That's correct.
And tell us what happened, Mac. Are you ready to tell now? Do you want to go look, or what do you want to do?
It was afternoon, August 16th,
Yes,
1977. I'm sitting in my workbench working on a monitor. I worked on medical equipment. And about that time, here comes this ambulance flying down through there like a runaway locomotive with the siren on. And I've never seen an ambulance come in that fast before in my life. So I jumped up off my stool and said, that fool's crazy to kill somebody running here like that. And he pulled in the emergency room parking lot and stopped about 1 foot before he went through a little brick fence. And after that, two men jumped out in black uniforms. One of them had a pistol on his side, one of them didn't. And I said, what is an ambulance driver doing wearing a pistol?
And you thought that was odd because...
Very odd.
And you've told people that, but they say that it was
They said it was probably a radio, but we worked on the radios in our shop like that, identical to them. We had to wear them.
So you would have recognized
Yeah,
that?
I recognized it a mile away. It looked like a pistol to me. And I believe to this day it was a policeman in the front of that ambulance. And they took Elvis out, they opened the doors real fast, pulled the stretcher out, not all the way until the legs fell down and wheels fell down and locked in place. And after that, they both got the hold of the stretcher and took off running kind of fast with him. He was laying there flat as a pancake, shaking like jelly. He was not in a fetal position.
And you said his face was covered.
His face was covered completely with
But
a
his
sheet.
legs were uncovered.
From his knees down was uncovered. You could see bare legs and bare feet. And I said, why is the man's head covered up? If he's dead, what's the big hurry? And I turned around to get my supervisor, told him something crazy was happening. When we got back to the window, there was police cars everywhere. And I'm sorry about running out of air. I got emphysema.
No, sir. Take your time,
anyway,
my friend. I got all day.
Anyway, that's about what happened there. He said, let's go down back and see what's going on. So we went down there. We could have went right down some steps and crossed a little bitty road and been there in less than 2 minutes. But I had to follow my supervisor. He went the long way. He went through the old hospital, crossed over to where an elevator was, went back down to the ground floor. Time we got back, it took a 5-minute walk to get to the emergency room. And I stood about far from me to you here to the emergency room door. And I could hear them defibrillating somebody, but didn't know who it was. They were hollering, breathe, breathe. About that time, a nurse come out and I grabbed her by the arm and said, who are you working on? She said, I'm not allowed to say, but it's a very important person. So I thought it was, yeah, VIP. Said it was, I thought it was the mayor of Memphis. And that's about it. My supervisor said, we stood there quite a while, watched them go in and out with tubing and those syringes and all kind of mess. He said, let's go back to the shop, Mac, and they're going to tell us who it is. I said, all right. So we're heading back to the shop. We run into a nurse pushing some kind of medical cart. I forgot what it was, but she was crying her eyes out. And I said, what are you crying about? And she said, well, Elvis is in the emergency room and he died. I said, oh no. I just couldn't believe that. I get kind of choked up thinking about it.
Yes, sir. Take your time, my friend. It's okay.
I thought a lot of Elvis.
Yes, sir.
Like a lot of people do. And it's kind of hard just every more camera tell us like this, but I feel like I lost my brother.
Yes, sir.
And I still do, but I'm not even sure he's dead, to be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
Eating dinner in the cafeteria there. I had dinner with Dr. Doris. Just him and myself at the table by ourselves. And he was telling me he was in the room while he was working on Elvis. He said it didn't even look like Elvis to me. He said had no resemblance whatsoever. I said, really? And he said, yeah. He said the man's teeth didn't even have any teeth in his mouth. And I said, he didn't have any teeth? And he said, yes. He said, I asked him about that. And they said they knocked him out putting an airline down his throat.
Right, trying to intubate him in the ambulance, right?
I don't know where it happened. They just didn't say where it happened. But I said, that don't sound right. And he said, well, to me it don't either. But they claim he had caps on his teeth. So that would have made sense. And that's about it.
Wow.
Part concerning Elvis. But I did see him pull him out. He was they were in a terrible lot of hurry if the man was dead.
Yeah. And the story goes that he was, when they got to Graceland to pick him up, that if you've watched my video about the ambulance ticket, it shows DOA, it shows 0 blood pressure, and that was 30 minutes away. It wouldn't make sense for them to pick somebody up that's DOA and take him and work on him like that.
Well, it came out in the paper when they got there. He was in a fetal position, drawn up in a fetal position, which is stiff, you know.
Right.
Rigor mortis had already said in the paper said.
Which there's no way for him to go from that position to flat.
Flat as a pancake, just shaking all over. I thought they were going to throw him off the stretcher. Because it was a bumpy parking lot, and they were both of them pushing him across as fast as they could, where most ambulances back up to the door nice and slow.
Yeah.
But,
and they jumped out and just were doing it, and it stood out to you that it was weird. It was odd.
Very weird, yeah, very weird. Very weird.
So later you went back into the room after they removed the body.
Oh yeah, after they removed, well, he said, let's go on back to the shop. I said, okay. Well, I almost got back to the shop and we saw this nurse and she said Elvis had died in the emergency room. I said, oh no. So we continued walking on. When I got back close to the shop, I said, do you mind if I go back? I thought a lot of Elvis. He said, go ahead. So it took me another 5-minute walk to go back. And when I got there, the emergency door, room 1, the door was open. All the equipment was running with EKG paper all over the floor.
So it was room number 1 that
room
he was
number
in.
1, definitely room number 1. Room number 2 was on this end. It's jointed in the back through a hallway where they had a big sink.
Okay.
But I understand that Elvis's family was in room 2 looking out, watching what happened. And they were saying they opened his chest up and massaged his heart by hand. But I did not see this, that's what I heard.
Okay.
And I turned off all the equipment myself, and I had some wire cutters in my pouch I carried. And I thought so much of Elvis, I wanted to keep that equipment. I wanted somebody to own it.
Yes, sir.
And I picked up the paddles that had contact gel all over them, where they put on your chest.
Yes, sir.
And I cut a V out in the rubber sleeve on the paddles themselves, so I'd recognize them. Also, there was marked on the handle, emergency room, Baptist Memorial Hospital. Had a date on there, which I can show you later. I don't have it here right now, but they were marked that way. And I kept up with that equipment over the years for a long time. 16 years later, they gave them to me.
Wow.
16 years later. They were going to sell them. Evidently they couldn't sell them, so they decided to throw them away. And I told the supervisor, I said, you know, I've kept up with that stuff a long time. Let me have them. So he left, and about 3 days later he come back in the shop and said, it's yours. But the bad part of it was, I was out in the hospital making a call, working on something. I got a call from somebody, I don't even know who it was. They said, we got some inspectors on their way over here. They're going to inspect the service department and the hospital. If you have anything that's old that needs throwing away, we got to get it out of here. Do you have anything old we can throw away? I said, as a matter of fact, I do. I got a PM2 monitor. I've already salvaged it out. Paperwork's drawn up on it. It's behind the door. Throw it in the dumpster for me. When I got back, see, Elvis' monitor was old too. Whoever it was went in there and saw that old monitor, and they got the case and threw it away. Well, that case had the serial model number on it, which I wanted to keep. Both were 662. Never seen that before in my life. Both of them the same thing. But before I left the shop, I had taken the cardio tracer out and the paddles out. I had unbolted it from the cabinet. So all they got was a cabinet and a defibrillator, EKG monitor, and all that stuff. And it was gone.
Yeah.
But I replaced it with one that the hospital gave me.
As far as the monitor itself, you're saying?
The box where the equipment was set in.
Right.
All that stuff was in it, kind of like a drawer.
But the actual defib paddles and the machine itself are the actual machine.
The paddles are actual machines, and the EKG part that spits out the paper was actual, was original. The table, the EKG machine, and the paddles were original. The rest of the cabinet and all that other stuff, I had to supplement.
To find something, but it was the same style.
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay. And so you worked on the equipment. That was your job at Baptist.
Right.
You worked in the equipment department.
Right.
How long did you work there?
Oh, maybe 23 years, something like that.
So you retired from there.
Right, 1995.
So you would have been 45 at the time?
I don't know how old I was, to be honest with you. I'm not much on figures, but
you're 85 now, or getting ready to be 85.
I'm going to be 85 in March.
Okay, so you would have been 44 or 45. It's 40 years ago.
Okay,
somewhere in that neighborhood. Okay, so there you go. So I would say you were 44 at the time. Yeah, amazing.
That's correct. About 40-something years old.
Yeah, this is an incredible story, Mac.
Well, that's what happened. That's what I saw, and I wrote a story about it, and I think I sent it to you on email.
Yes, sir. You sure did. But I wanted to hear you tell it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can tell it, but it ain't like you telling it. It's real. You know, this really happened, and you were really there. You witnessed it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Let me show you the monitor.
Sir. And Mac's home caught on fire, friends, about, what, a month ago?
Yeah.
What happened, Mac?
I had an air compressor over in the corner where that fan is.
Yeah.
And I had just aired up my lawnmower tires to cut my grandson's yard. 3 houses down, my grandson's yard. So I was down there cutting his yard, and that air compressor, when I wound up the hose and carried them back to hang the air hose on it, it wasn't running, and I figured I had turned the thing off. But I hadn't turned it off, and when it tried to come back on, it leaked down enough it tried to come back on. It didn't come back on, it locked up and just sit there and got hotter and hotter, broke into flames.
Oh, Lord.
So it was my fault. It was sitting over in that corner.
This is a beautiful place, Mac. Are they going to rebuild it?
I'm hoping they can.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you sharing this with us, man. It's a big deal. It means a lot. It really does. I'm sorry that this happened. I know that's got to be tough.
Yeah, it was. This was my Graceland.
Yes, sir.
My wife and I shared it together, and everything we had's gone. It destroyed 3 cars in here, and I didn't have any. I had liability on them to protect the other person, but I didn't have any insurance on my own.
Right, because they were paid for, right?
And, yeah, and I didn't figure on having a wreck anyway, but they was in the garage locked up, and the insurance didn't cover them.
Wow.
So we lost that.
What were they?
One was a Subaru station wagon. One was a Cadillac that my daughter actually owned, that I bought for her. And there was my wife's car in there, and I had a convertible car, 4 cars.
So you had them squeezed in there.
Well, my convertible was here, my wife's car was there, my daughter's car was there, and then the next one was...
Oh, so they were over in there.
Yeah.
So they just, the heat got them?
Heat got them, yeah. Boy, it melted the tires on them.
Yeah, wow, it melted all this stuff. Boy, it was hot.
When it caught, it went.
No doubt.
I had some oil jugs full of motor oil sitting over here, 5 gallons, 5 quarts, and I think they got busted.
When they get hot, that's it.
It went.
They go. They really do.
That's what happened to that plastic seat thing.
Yeah. That's the thing that you ride on to ride behind.
No, that's the thing. Grass seat.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that you pull behind that slings the grass.
Pieces. Melted this top.
Really did.
I had a pistol team. I carried all my pistol stuff in there, but it's gone now. But, got a nice pool behind.
Yeah, man, this is a beautiful place out here.
Had a deck on the back, nice front porch. I call that little house Graveland because I had two geese out here, 2 white geese.
Yeah.
And,
You got your guitar on there?
yeah, I put that on there. My daughter-in-law painted it for me. And I run out some paper, they come out in the paper and said Elvis and Star was seen in Lexington. Other side, and talking about the geese. But I took a picture of that shed when it was in good shape. But you can see it's a mess now.
Yeah, but you know what? This kind of stuff can be rebuilt, my friend. I know it's tough. No loss of life, that's the main thing.
No, they don't want to hear somebody about to cry, but
No, sir. Look, I appreciate your sincerity. That's real, and I get it. I get it completely. Reliving that day is tough, and you know you've had some other things happen like this. That doesn't help.
nice front porch.
Yeah, you got a beautiful place out here.
Okay, this is messy. Still, it smells bad too. But this was our living room area. I had all my wife's retirement stuff I gave her on that little table there. It got destroyed. And this was a long couch curved around table. Her chair was right there. Mine was by the window over there.
Yes, sir.
TV right here. We had a big screen TV.
Boy, it got so hot it melted it.
Yeah. Wasn't even on fire, just heat.
Yeah, just hot.
Just heat. And we'll go down here. Show the monitor. These steps are very narrow, so be careful.
Yes, sir.
Very narrow. Out there you go to the pool.
Pool area like Graceland out here.
Yeah. I got a lot of grandkids playing, swimming in that thing.
Yes, sir.
35 or 40 on the weekends.
Yes, sir, I bet. Old pinball machine.
Yeah, I got that thing at the Goodwill. It was in there, we brought it out here and made
That's
it.
really nice.
Tried to save it, it still worked.
I bet you can make that thing run.
I'll show you a game I invented. I got a patent on it, but never do anything with it.
Yes, sir.
Kind of like that. Of course, you wouldn't understand it unless you played golf. That's the pool table under there, trying to keep it dry. I think try to turn the light on. There's no light. But right there is the monitor that you want to see. Now this part right here is original.
Okay.
This cabinet is original. This drawer is original. I took this thing when I first got it. I cut a slot in the back of this old cabinet here. Now I displayed it somewhere. Put a note here. This note was in here. I told them if they wanted a story about it, send me enough to cover the postage, and I'd send it to them. Well, this guy here, the only one that sent me anything. Money's still in there and the tape's still in there. Oh, money's gone. I'll be dog. Who done that? I didn't take the money out of there.
So you made the tape to send to him with the story on it?
Oh, the song on there.
Oh, with your song. That's right. You told me you wrote a couple of songs.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear them, but I saw the lyrics to them.
Yeah. But this is original. This is a replacement, and this is a replacement.
But the actual cabinet, the roll-around part, is real.
This cabinet it sat on, it was on display at the Rockabilly Hall of Fame Museum for about 12 years. And everybody knew I liked Elvis.
So you have an Elvis wall.
And that's what they give me for Christmas.
They bring you all kinds of Elvis stuff.
Yeah. And I just stick it on the wall.
You have quite a collection here.
Most of it's just stuff people can buy, but I hung it up on the wall. You want to see a picture of that ambulance? Here it is.
Yes, sir. I do want to see.
I thought I had 2 pictures of it, but I can't find nothing but this.
So the rear slot, you're saying, was for what?
The what? I told them if they wanted to, I thought it was, if you want to hear a story about what I saw take place and all, and the song I wrote, to leave me $4 and a mailing address.
Oh, okay. I see.
Through there.
And then you could pull it out.
I sent them that, but I left the money in there because I didn't want to take it.
Yes, sir.
There's the ambulance.
So he found this ambulance, friends, in a guy's backyard, and I'm going to follow up on this and try to find it. And you mentioned that the doors, one side was a Chevy door.
This side's original Chevrolet. The other door's got a GMC emblem on it.
Okay.
This is the ambulance I saw. It had the air conditioner on top. And the guy was storing car parts in the back of it.
And there's a story about that thing hitting the gates of Graceland as it went through.
That's what I heard.
Do you think it grabbed the door, and that's why they had to replace the door, or is that another time?
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's been wrecked or what, but it did have a GMC emblem on the other door. And I found this ambulance. A policeman across the street from me said, I know where that is. I thought I'd been looking for it a long time. And he said, a friend of mine bought that at the city auction. So that's what happened. He called that friend up and he let me go out and look at it and make pictures of it. And I got the papers at home, I'll show you, that he gave me when he got the ambulance. He called it the Elvis unit.
Elvis unit. It was number 6.
Number 6 was the number, yeah. Well, you got a good memory.
Yes, sir. Well, I've been to the fire station and where it was dispatched from. You know, I went and did a story there.
Yes, sir, you got a good memory.
So that is the cabinet, friends, right there. I'm going to try to...
This is the electronic golf game I invented. I built it myself and actually got the thing to work. But I never did do anything about it. But what it is, my golf course got melted that I put on here.
Yeah.
It just got melted all the heck. And this little light was what represented the golf ball. It shined through a green plastic field here. It represented the ball. And it would go this way and that way. You could just select the shots you want to make. It would go and turn like that and stop. Or it would go that way and stop. Or it would go sideways and stop.
Mm-hmm.
You had 18 different shots you could make. But I got a patent on this thing. And the fire destroyed it.
So you just made this to go back in. That was where you cut the original hole out.
I just set that on top of it to keep the dang cat. I had a cat from getting down there and trapping the stuff out.
So what was it, a dome?
No, it was a plastic. I don't know if it's still in here or not. It is, but it's probably tore up. I'm not sure it was melted. But it survived the fire. I don't know how.
There's your George Klein autograph.
See, my idea was to put a picture on here professionally.
Oh, wow.
And that was supposed to be
It still looks pretty.
on there. And what you did is, you want to play hole 1, you turn that around to 1, and that light would light up under here. And if you go to 1 green, which would be over here, you'd probably select that shot there.
Okay.
And you'd hit the plate lever after you set the yardage you wanted to do. It would go so far, and you had to put another shot. If you got under the water or the sand, it cost you a stroke. And then you got through with that play thing, you got these 2 switches here. It brought it back to the next place, to the next thing here, to the next field. That's the way that worked.
That is really cool.
But I got a patent on that. Just couldn't get anybody to manufacture it.
Really?
When I got through it, the computer market hit the market, and everybody was playing computer golf. But I had pictured this thing inside of a pool table on some rich guy's home and den that liked golf. And a real nice, pretty unit, you know.
Yeah.
That's what
This thing is incredible.
Get the patent. Somebody got the patent and everything on the window up there.
Yeah, you said 1972.
There's a picture of Elvis.
Yeah, George Klein. He
Klein.
autographed that for you.
Yeah. Stuff all over down here. Got it. Here's me and my granddaughter at Graceland. There's two of them there. My grandson at Graceland. I've been to Graceland about 5 times.
Just 5 times.
About 5 altogether.
Yes, sir. We had a lot of Elvis stuff in this room.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That was just on display. It did have T-Ys written on it down here. That's who painted it. And I turned around and put this mess on there myself. I fixed the belt buckle. I put that on there. And that. But it did have the painter's name T-Ys on here. And when I got it back from the museum, it was gone. But I never forgot that name, T-Ys.
Yeah, it says T.Y.'s right there.
Where?
Right there on the
All right, there you go.
bottom of the thing. And it says it right there. It still says it. See it?
I put that on there.
Oh, you did yourself?
But this is original.
So yeah, that says it right
No
on the...
wonder I couldn't find it. I was looking in the wrong place.
There you go. It's on the bottom of the...
Okay. It's still there.
And medical electronics, which is what you worked in.
That was on the door of my shop.
So that was at Baptist on the door.
That was actually on the door.
Wow.
When I retired, they gave it to me.
That is extra cool.
Uh,
Elvis guitar right there.
Oh, it's just an old, I don't think that's really an Elvis guitar. Somebody made that.
Yeah, they just put the Elvis thing on there.
That stuff is, a lot of these folders don't have any records on them. I just stuck them up there. They don't have no record in it. Found one the other day, a record busted all the pieces in it. Where it fell off the wall. I had this in the museum too, trying to find somebody to sing it for me, you know.
Oh yeah.
Put that on there, but nobody called me about it. That's the worst of the song.
That was very cool.
It says believed to be the first and only Christmas song ever written and copyrighted in memory of Elvis Presley. Written by local writer James McQueen. The writer was looking for a good singer to sing the song, also give it a good Christmas sound. And I believe Elvis was sent by God.
Yeah, I believe so too. So what would have gone down here, Mac? Just whatever they wanted to sit in there?
They wanted to put down there, that was just a storage.
It wasn't for anything specific.
No. It sure wasn't. That's the original table that they had right there that Dr. Nick used.
And what is this?
That's what they discharge the paddles from the channel.
Oh, so when they
test the paddles.
test the paddles, they touch that and it shows if it's a 50 ohm load or not. It lights red.
Those things that go boop, 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 boop. When it got charged up to the doctor said it right here. So many watt seconds. And when you reach that point there to give a steady sound, boop, and then they'll stand back.
It was okay to hit.
If the heart was beating, they used the cardio version. If the heart wasn't beating, they used the defibrillation.
And that would be to try to reset the heart, to restart
Right.
change the heartbeat.
Well, if you defibrillate somebody that's got a heartbeat, if the shock hits in the wrong place, it could stop the heart completely. This right here, it's got a trigger there that makes it shock the person at the right time.
Right.
But this one just shocks as it hits the pedal.
So it uses the heartbeat to determine when it shocks here.
Right.
That tries to start the heartbeat. And then that's the cable for...
They put the line.
Oh, for the all the what do they call that? Telemetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes in here. And then this is transferred inside here to this right here.
Right.
And this will write it out. But this thing had paper all over the floor.
Because it ran for a long time when they were
yeah,
trying to
it was
defib.
still running
Did
on.
you notice if it had ever showed a heartbeat or was it dead flat?
I did not. I just walked in there and said, what a mess.
Yeah.
And I picked everything up. I just thought he was dead, what they said.
Yeah.
I rolled into the morgue. But the interesting thing was, they told me to Policeman went to the morgue.
Did you say you rolled him to the morgue?
They did.
Okay, you saw him.
No, they
They
were gone.
They were gone by the time you got back.
When I got back, that they had just left the room.
Yeah.
But because it was a 5-minute walk from where I was back in there. But they worked on Elvis a good 15, 20 minutes.
Wow. That's an incredible story, Mike.
And I know they defibrillated him at least 10 times while I was standing outside the door listening. Because of the sound it makes. We worked on him. I knew what it was when I heard it. So hollering, breathe, breathe.
Wow.
But
and you say that you've got paperwork on this, that you talked to Dr. Nick. Did you take was it the paddles you took to Dr. Nick?
yeah, I took the paddle to Dr. Nick. They're over my other place. We'll go over. I'll show
Yes,
you
sir.
those. Be glad to.
Yes, sir. Well, I would love to see it.
It had a plastic door on them, and the hinges got so hot the door fell off, but I got to put it back on. But they're in good shape.
So they were actually in the house.
They was right in here hanging on the cabinet.
Okay.
And the heat got so hot in here, the plastic door fell off.
Wow.
Sure did.
Amazing.
So I got to glue it back on the hinges where it'll open and close.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
You ready to go?
I just bought that. If you follow me, I'll take you to show you where the paddles
Okay.
are.
That's a nice car you got there.
I like it. I like it.
Yes, sir.
I rode in my convertible until I was drafted in the military.
Yes, sir. Where were you in the military?
Panama Canal.
What branch?
No, Fort Gulick. Panama Canal.
Yeah, what branch?
Transportation. I
What?
drove a bus.
Army or?
Army.
Okay.
I drove a bus.
So you didn't do electronics in the military then?
No, I got into school after that.
Okay. My granddad did electronics in the Navy.
Yeah. I went to Keegan School of Electronics, and they taught a little bit about televisions. And that's how I got my first job. And, well, I opened up my own shop to begin with. I didn't do too good at it. And I wanted to get married, so I saw an ad and run an ad and went to work for a wholesale distributor. And after that's how I got started.
Yes, sir.
And being a TV repairman.
So friends, I must say that is a real Elvis fan right there. And I feel so sorry for him. I hate that happened to him. Wow, what an incredible guy and an incredible story. So we're going to go over and see the paddles now. Come on with me. Let's go. So friends, we're at Mac's house, and this is where he is living right now until they get his house straightened out. And you can see right there, one Elvis. This man is a true Elvis fan. This man loved Elvis and wanted to keep these parts of history alive. Otherwise, if it wasn't for him, those parts that he's showing us of history and him having the fortitude and the forethought to stay with those, he worked for 16 years to get these, that machine that you saw and these paddles that he's getting ready to show us. It took him 16 years of staying on it to get it. And that shows how much he cares. Amazing. And he's concerned that he was emotional, but I think that shows reality. That shows that he is real. This is not something that he takes lightly. This means a lot to him, and it means a lot to me that he's showing us, and I hope it means a lot to y'all. Y'all support Mac in this thing. Give him some shout outs and give him some love. All right, Mac, you ready, buddy?
Yeah. You can tell them to get on YouTube, if you will, and find that song and put it together for me. I'd love to see it on.
Yes, sir. And there's a YouTube channel where your son's YouTube channel, right, where you're singing those songs.
You got to type in "Merry Christmas Elvis" by Mac McQueen.
"Merry Christmas Elvis" by Mac McQueen. You type that in, and you're gonna see this man singing. He wrote a Christmas song for Elvis.
I want somebody to sing it and play it right.
He wants somebody to sing it and play it. So we're gonna see what we can do to make that happen.
Turn the light on. My son brought he went by, bless his heart, and got that out of storage for you.
Yes, sir.
Brought it over here so you could see it. Now this, I'm having trouble getting things on there, so they won't stay on them.
Oh, the hinges, you said it melted a little bit.
Melted it off.
So friends, this is the actual paddles that were used. That plugs into the machine that we saw, and then those are the actual paddles. And you've got them hooked down, I would
Here's a
assume.
little bee I cut out with my wire cutters.
Okay. So there's the V that he cut out of him with his wire cutters that day, standing in the room.
It says BMH Emergency Department, Baptist Hospital. I can't read it all, but
Yes, sir. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can read it. Baptist Memorial. It says BN.
BMC, Baptist Memorial Hospital.
Yeah.
BMH.
H. Emergency Department. 82576.
Okay.
Wow.
They were in the emergency room. That's what.
And that's where he cut it. Right there, so he knew that it was marked. Incredible. So you've got these things hooked down. Yeah, you've got them wired down.
Yeah, they just wired to the board.
But they would push the. How did it work?
Originally, I just had the King down here, but I knew Elvis didn't like that, so I put the King of Rock and Roll.
Right, because Jesus is the King.
Yeah.
That's right. So how did it work? Did they hold the buttons down?
The round knob on the defibrillator, they turn it to the charge that they want to set. They hit the charge button, it'll say beep, 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 and then it'll give a steady tone when it gets up to that power. And when it gives a steady tone, the doctor's got to mash both these buttons, put them on the patient's
And then
chest.
put them on their chest, and then.
Yeah, I've seen these things raise patients off the bed that far. They boom, it really puts a pop to you.
Wow.
And you go up to about 7,000 some odd volts. And this is all along to the Rockbridge Hall of Fame. He put that on their museum.
Incredible. You made this box. That's really neat.
Yeah, I made the box.
Shadow box type setup.
Had to be a deep one, so I just made it deep.
Yes, sir.
Here's some things that you might want to keep.
I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see this stuff.
This is the hospital paperwork where they gave me the monitor. They were giving me model 662, serial number 662. That's what was so strange. This tells you it was stationed in emergency room. ER they call it.
Yeah, I see the ER right there.
That's where it was stationed. This is when I was younger. My daughter didn't know who this was, but I was pointing to these paddles.
How old were you there, you think?
About 40 something, I guess.
Wow. So it was close to the time that you got the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that's original. That's the EKG machine. And it's the original table. And this is my dad in the Rockabilly Hall. My dad in the house right there, he had this as his band. Johnny Burnett, Dorsey Burnett, and Paul Burleson. That my dad playing the piano. And this is a story I wrote. Hung this up in that right there. That house is where they rehearsed all the time. And I put that in Rockabilly Hall of Fame. I just left it there. I didn't have a picture where he was with them, but that was his band called Doc McQueen and the Rock and Roll Trio. And they were so good. They went to New York, Ted Mack's Amateur Hour. They won 3 times straight in a row.
Wow.
And they made it big.
And it was called what amateur hour?
Ted Mack's Amateur Hour.
Ted Max.
Yeah. And they won 3 times straight in a row, and they got a recording contract. I believe it was Coral Records. And the singer, Johnny Burnett, had a boat wreck, I understand, broke his neck. That broke the whole thing up. Now all of them are.
I remember the name Johnny Burnett.
Well, Elvis played with him a while. Sung with him a while. He never did mention Elvis the whole time he was playing with my dad. This is the hospital where they carried Elvis. When I'd go home afternoon, I'd go down Union Avenue and I'd look up in that window right there. The sun would be shining. It'd just light up like the sun itself. And I went up there one day to see what was causing that to do that when Elvis was dismissed. And it was just aluminum foil all over the window.
They covered it up.
And his name was spelled completely backwards at the nurse's station.
Oh, really?
So nobody knew who it was.
So is that the back of the emergency department? Where were you as opposed to this?
The emergency department was on this side right here. You can't even see it in the picture. It was just a little short driveway with a little fence about this tall.
And that was the fence you were saying that they got close to hitting.
And it had a road come down here. It had another fence that went around this way, but went between the hospital and the emergency room. And that's where I saw him come out one day. We heard he was fixing to leave the hospital. So I stood by that fence out there watching for one car. Here comes 6 white Cadillacs out. They were dark windows. Couldn't even see the driver. And I just waved at all of them. And they took off up Union Avenue. They come out between the hospital and the emergency room. But they were not in the emergency room parking lot. It's kind of strange how that was made, but that road come down here and went up kind of uphill, went behind the emergency room. The emergency room parking lot was by itself. kind of a lower level. And they had a small brick fence around it, and that's where they like to run through it. They just barely stop that close any further than they hit it. And from this angle here, they pushed him all the way back to the emergency room on the stretcher. But that's what I said. There's something crazy going on here. Drive that past a dead man.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense to me. I'll tell you this stuff if you want it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You might have some use for it.
Yes, sir. Let me see this right here. We'll see that. So it says shop record showing monitor location, model serial. It also shows comments sold to Mr. McQueen for $0. And that's a copy of the actual shop record from Baptist Memorial Material Management. Because they couldn't just throw machines away. There had to be a paper trail. And it says the American Optical Monitor Model 662, also wooden table.
But what was so strange, when I walked in with these pedals, I said, do you remember these, Dr. Nick? And he stood there, looked like for 3 minutes, didn't say a word looking at them. Finally said, oh yes, I remember them well. And that kind of confused me why he waited so long to say that. He said it twice.
But you went to the Cottingham house.
Yes, it was on Cunningham. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember the name of the street
Yeah.
it was. He said Elvis Presley, I believe, gave him that house.
Well, we gave him the money to build it. That's right.
Yeah. And he gave me a list of things that Elvis had given me, and this is it. I tried to make you a copy, but it won't copy.
Really?
Because it's so messed up. So messed up.
I can take a picture of this if you don't mind.
Okay. That's
Wow.
Dr. Nick gave me that. I gave Dr. Nick one of these, just like this.
Yes, sir. And that's laminated,
Left with him.
and that shows the paddles, picture on the wall, and the machine. Incredible.
There's some more laminated stuff. I just showed you that shop records.
Yeah.
And that's pictures. You can show the mercury in that way.
There you go.
There's a fence going around that drive. It's a big tall fence. But emergency room had a short fence underneath that. And this emergency room was real close to the hospital. This drive went between the hospital and the emergency room.
Around the outside of that wall.
It just went around everything. It missed the emergency room. It was up on a hill.
So where were you sitting? How did you
There was a
see it?
building right here, right across from this little road right here.
This building that you can see the corner of?
Can't even see the building. That might be it there.
Yeah.
I looked right down on it. And this short street went up to Union Avenue.
Yeah.
And they always took the siren off at this stoplight up here, red light. Come down here nice and slow and back up to this emergency room door. But this guy didn't. He come in there like a flying idiot.
Wow.
This is signed with
So are you saying...
This is signed with Dr. Nick Nicholas.
Okay, so this is, let's see, shortly after the death of Elvis Aaron Presley, Mr. James T. McQueen, otherwise known as Mac, stopped me in the hall of Baptist Memorial Hospital. He introduced himself and explained how he had marked the defibrillator paddles used on Elvis Presley with a cutting tool. Mr. McQueen was employed by Baptist Hospital to maintain medical equipment. He was going to keep up with the monitor and paddles used on Elvis, hopefully someday to own them. Today, I, Mr. George C. Nicopoulos, being Elvis's personal physician, testify in writing, Mr. James T. McQueen now owns the EKG printer, table, and defibrillator paddles which were used on Elvis Presley on August 16, 1977 in the emergency department of Baptist Memorial Hospital. I unequivocally, without a doubt, recognize the paddles by the inscription on the handle being the same original paddles I used on Elvis Presley. And that was signed January 4th, 1996. Wow.
This is my manager of our clinical engineering department. This is her letter.
So this is this the supervisor that you were talking to
No,
that day?
that's the manager. The supervisor that went with me down the emergency room, his name was Walter Lewis, but I don't know where in the devil that boy is. This man, I don't know where he is now either, but he was the manager of our department back then, 16 years after when they started to give me that equipment. They were going to throw it away. I said, don't do that, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
People think it was sick me wanting them, but I don't look at it.
No, it's history. I don't think it's sick at all. I think it's incredible. Well, Mac, I appreciate you, my friend. You showing this to all of us is epic.
Got no guitar in
Oh,
here.
this light's...
I don't have no tuner. You know how to tune one?
Yes, sir. The light didn't go up.
Oh, that's another light.
Oh, is it this over here?
Yeah.
There we go. Absolutely, I know how to tune one.
Huh? Yeah, I don't have it here.
Where's it at?
In the garage.
Okay. Let's tune it
I
up.
took it out of the house. I had another guitar. It burned up. It was a better than solid top on it, but it burned. Whatever you call that thing at the end of the neck up here.
Yeah.
It melted.
Oh, the nut. This thing right here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the
called a
nut.
It just melted.
Yeah, wow.
But this one is not tuned yet. This is the first one I bought. I put this stuff in there myself.
All
Just to
right.
make it look better.
Let's tune it up.
But I can't tune it.
Yes, sir. I can tune it.
I had my grandson down here. He tuned it. So I don't know whether you're tuned it right or not.
That last one is a...
Maybe you do strings
Was it?
That's the thing. You see these two clocks up here?
Yeah.
This one was in the living room. That's how hot it got.
Yeah. So that one got, the one in the basement, yeah, the one on the right was in the living
It
room.
hurt as bad, but it was
Yeah, it's
water
just soot
damage.
and that kind of stuff and
This
water.
was in the living room. Busted the glass out and
Wow.
everything.
Thing took a beating, didn't it?
Yeah. It got hot, man.
No doubt. So let's see what we got here. I'll have to tighten it up a little bit.
I ordered
I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, down, down, up any way you want me to run. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got me doing what you want, baby, what do you want me to do? Long, lot of practice, my friend. Been playing since I was a little boy. And that's not, man, there's people way better than me.
That's the way Elvis played the
But
guitar.
she's in tune, yes sir.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, man. It was a pleasure, Mac. I appreciate you. You got what, pick order?
Yeah, a tuner.
Oh, a tuner? Yeah. I've used a tuner so much to tune that I'm almost at a point where I can't do it myself.
Really?
So friends, we saw some incredible stuff I just gave Mac a copy of my record, and we're gonna go get a bite to eat and hear some more stories. Come with, won't you? Friends, we're at Grecian Family Restaurant. Me and Mac are gonna eat. Is that gonna embarrass you if I take this camera in? If it was him using the paddles or somebody
else. Yeah, I asked
else.
Dr. Nick personally if he was the one who used the paddles or was it another doctor while I was out at his home. And he said, yes, I did. We all did. And that confused me. He said, we all did. But they worked on Elvis quite a while, and I guess he was up and changed, you know. He said, yes, I did. We all did.
Wow.
And that kind of threw me a curve when he said that.
That is odd.
But when I showed him those paddles, he just stood there, didn't say a word, just looking at them. Seemed like for a long time, and I thought to myself, why don't you say something, you know? He finally said, yes, I do, I remember him well. Yes, I do, I remember him well. He said it twice. It's like he hated to say it.
Do you think it was from an aspect of, if I claim that these are the ones, can it incriminate me somehow, so I'm not going to say anything? Or really think about it?
He said, where did you mark them, Mac? I said, I marked them here with the wire cutters, Dr. Nick. And I pointed down there, and he looked up at me and said, I went back and tried to get him to let me take some pictures of the emergency room. They wouldn't let me. I thought they wouldn't.
Take a picture in the emergency room?
I'm not allowed to.
That would have been incredible if you'd had it.
I wanted to show room number 1 to show what it looked like.
Yeah.
People that say it was in room 2 and all that, it was definitely in room number 1. Without any doubt at all.
You were there and worked in there.
Time we got down there, they had a policeman standing at the door, room number 1. Only letting doctors and nurses go in.
Where are you going?
There was a preacher or somebody that told Elvis he was a bell sheep. Elvis said, what is that? He said, that's somebody that leads people to Christ.
And I believe that.
And he said, that's when Elvis broke down and started crying.
But that's for your son right there. I've already given you one, and just tell him to enjoy it, and hope there's something on there you like, and I'll definitely give your songs a listen. We'll see what we can do with it. All right, appreciate you, my friend. Be careful. God bless you. Friends, I don't have to tell Mac to tighten up. He already did. That's a true gentleman. That is the epitome of an Elvis fan. That's what this Elvis family is. Guys like him that truly loved Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, and truly loved Jesus as well. That's an Elvis fan right there. So friends, now that you've heard Mac's story, I want you to do what I said. I want you to love on Mac. What I don't want you to do is say negative things. If you say negative things about my friend Mac, I will block you. I'm just telling you right now, if you say anything negative about my friend, I'm going to block you. If you put a thumbs down, not my problem. If this was a thumbs down for you, then you got the problem, not me. I'll just say that. So a thumbs down is on you, friends. So don't worry about the thumbs down. That's up to you. I really couldn't care less. In fact, I'm starting to find that no matter what you put in a video, there's always going to be haters. Haters are going to hate. It's just how it is. It is what it is. I couldn't care less about their opinion, just being honest. But let's love on Mac, guys. He has some other videos on here on YouTube that we'll allude to. I'll try to put some links up, or at least put how you can find his video of him singing these songs. And I'm going to see what I can do about getting some of these songs done. Of course, you know, I have a record studio and I sing and other people sing. So we'll see what we can do to help Mac out with some of these songs. I think it will be a lifelong dream fulfilled for him. So, love on Mac, friends. Tighten up every chance you get. Mac is already plenty tight, I can tell you that.